All right, let's just dive straight into this. It's kind of wild, but some people will spend their absolute entire lives trying to get rich, all while their own chaotic minds are actively working behind the scenes to keep them poor. Just think about that for a second. We're constantly bombarded with advice to focus on the numbers, right? The budget, the salary, the investments. But here's the truth. You literally cannot build lasting wealth with a chaotic mind. So welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to break down exactly how to become calmer, richer, and honestly get there a whole lot faster by completely rewiring how you think. We are going to build your mind before we build your money. And, well, here is the genuinely scary part of this whole equation. You might actually be sabotaging yourself right now without even realizing it. I want you to ask yourself, are you trying to get rich while your mind is making you poor? What's really fascinating about this question is that it forces us to stop and really evaluate our own hidden behaviors. Because, we so often think financial success is just about earning a bigger paycheck, getting a better job, or starting that killer business. But there is this entirely other, absolutely crucial layer that we almost completely ignore. And that's the mind actually controlling that money. So what does this hidden problem actually look like out there in the real world? Let's see if any of this rings a bell. You work super hard, you finally land that raise, and boom, immediately your lifestyle gets more expensive to match it. Or maybe you get a chunk of unexpected money, like a tax refund, and you just blow it all on an emotional high. Or maybe you take a hit in the stock market once, and you get so paralyzed by fear that you literally never invest again. Or, oh man, the classic modern trap, comparing your messy everyday life to someone's perfectly curated Instagram highlight reel, and suddenly you're buying stuff you definitely can't afford just to keep up. Right? These are all classic symptoms of a chaotic mind just draining your wealth. I really want you to consider this phrase. Your bank account often reflects your habits before it reflects your income. Just let that marinate for a second. It's such a brilliant way to illustrate that just piling up more money doesn't automatically buy you peace or stability. If you're anxious, if you're unorganized or impulsive right now, well, throwing more money at the problem just means you're going to make way larger, much more expensive mistakes. A calm person actually thinks before reacting, because a stronger mind is what creates the foundation and the discipline you actually need to handle and grow real money. Okay, so the absolute most crucial point here is that we have got to calm down before we try to level up. Constantly, desperately chasing after money just creates all this mental static. It makes you incredibly vulnerable to those shady get-rich-quick scams and honestly just a mountain of unnecessary debt. So to fix this, we're going to use what I call the financial decision rule. Before you make literally any important financial move, run it through this simple four-step sequence. Pause, think, calculate, decide. Injecting this incredibly practical little process into your life acts like a circuit breaker for emotional panic. It forces your logical brain right back into the driver's seat, stopping those impulsive, costly mistakes dead in their tracks. And once you master that ability to hit the pause button, you can start applying our second major principle, which is delaying gratification. Picture this. Imagine you have $1,000 in your hand right now. You're faced with two choices. You could blow it on present excitement, maybe a wild weekend trip or some new designer shoes, something that feels amazing for about a week. Or you could use that exact same $1,000 to build future freedom, tucking it into an emergency fund, or maybe buying a course that drastically improves your earning skills for years to come. Now, look, this is not about totally depriving yourself or never enjoying a dime you make. Not at all. It's entirely about balance. Enjoy some of it for sure, but always remember that true wealth comes from consistently choosing future freedom over present excitement. And that leads us right into this massive, glaring trap in our modern financial world. It's the illusion of looking rich versus the reality of quiet wealth. Social media manufactures this intense illusion that literally everyone else is jet-setting, buying luxury cars, and dripping in designer clothes. It makes it look like everyone is some kind of overnight success. But meanwhile, the reality of actual sustainable wealth is, well, kind of boring. It's a fully stocked emergency savings account, it's a stable income, it's having zero unnecessary debt, it's genuine sleep well at night peace of mind, not some flashy logo that you're stuck paying off for the next 3 years. There is just such profound simplicity in this one truth. Quiet wealth is often invisible. Seriously, folks who constantly bend over backwards trying to look rich just to impress other people, they are actively delaying their own ability to actually become financially secure. Think about it. When you are so busy proving to total strangers on the internet that you have money, you are quite literally handing your hard-earned wealth straight over to the very companies selling you that fake illusion. So to combat this endless illusion, we have to toughen up. We've got to make our minds a whole lot harder to manipulate because advertisements, influencers, FOMO, they are constantly trying to hijack your financial behavior every single time you pick up your phone. So before you make your next big purchase, I want you to use this checklist as an absolute shield for your mind. Ask yourself, do I actually want this, or did somebody else convince me I need it? Will this purchase even matter to me 6 months from now? And perhaps most importantly, is this actually helping my future self? Okay, let's switch gears and go on the offense for a minute, because becoming richer isn't just about playing defense and relentlessly cutting your expenses. Look, there is a hard mathematical limit to how much you can actually save, right? But there is virtually zero limit to your earning potential. So you've got to focus on increasing your personal value. I'm talking about learning highly valuable skills, leveling up your communication, getting better at sales, mastering new tech, or maybe launching that side business. When you focus your energy on solving really valuable problems for other people, you become incredibly reliable and extremely difficult to replace. And frankly, that is exactly how you realistically scale your income to the moon. But here's the catch. To really capitalize on all that increased value, you absolutely have to completely shift your time frame. It all boils down to short-term thinking versus long-term thinking. Short-term thinking is anxious, it's frantic, and it constantly asks, how can I make money this week? It just keeps you trapped in this exhausting, reactive hamster wheel. Long-term thinking, on the other hand, takes a breath and calmly asks, what can I build over the next 5 years? Because wealthy people, they don't think in days or weeks. They actively choose to think in years. And let me tell you exactly why thinking in years matters so much. It's the unbelievable, magic-like power of compounding. Over just one single year, your new skills and habits start to compound. Over 3 years, your network, your relationships, and your professional reputation compound. And over 5 years, that's when your savings and investments really start to take off and grow all on their own. But listen, you've got to be careful, because this mathematical law absolutely works both ways. Unhealthy habits, chronic stress, and high-interest credit card debt, yeah, those compound too. You want to be damn sure that the passage of time is working for you and not against you. Just take a breath here and really chew on this for a second. Your future is being built by what you repeatedly do when nobody's watching. It's not about those massive, flashy moves you make in public to get a round of applause. Not at all. It is entirely about the quiet, sometimes boring, consistent choices you make every single day in total privacy. Those invisible, everyday habits are the exact things dictating whether your life is compounding in a positive direction or tanking in a negative one. So how do we actually build those solid, money-making daily habits? Well, it starts with this simple, calm, and richer daily system. It is a completely doable, totally achievable routine you can literally start today. Ready? In the morning, spend your first 10 minutes completely phone-free. Just sit there and decide what actually matters most today. During the day, it's simple. Just pause before spending money impulsively. Then in the evening, ask yourself, what did I do today that genuinely helped my future self? And finally, on a weekly basis, just sit down for a few minutes and review your spending, your savings, and your goals. See, it's not overwhelming at all. It's just a highly practical, manageable shift in how you operate. And as you consistently stick to that daily system, something honestly kind of magical happens. You experience this massive core mindset shift. You wake up and realize that getting rich isn't just about wildly chasing dollars anymore. It is entirely about becoming the caliber of person who can actually manage that money responsibly. You literally evolve. You go from being impulsive to being intentional, from being a ball of anxiety to being perfectly calm. You transition from being just another mindless consumer into a genuine builder. And you leave behind that toxic, endless comparison for a place of deep, unshakable self-respect. Honestly, that is the real victory here. Now, I want to slow things down for a second. I just want to speak directly to you right now. Maybe you're not actually behind. Maybe you are simply right in the middle of your becoming. You know, so many of us walk around carrying this really heavy, deep-seated financial shame. We constantly tell ourselves we should have way more saved by now, or we should be light years ahead in our careers. But I really want to remind you that your journey is uniquely yours. And guess what? The middle of any journey is always a bit messy. So take a deep breath. You are exactly where you need to be to learn these lessons. And please, reassure yourself that true, meaningful progress is very often completely invisible to everyone else. Maybe you are quietly chipping away at that credit card debt.
Maybe you're exhausted but learning a brand new skill after the kids finally go to sleep. Or maybe you're scraping together your very first emergency fund. Hell, maybe you are rebuilding your entire life after a massive financial mistake. Or you're starting completely from scratch at 40, 50, or even 60 years old. I'm telling you, there is absolutely zero shame in any of that. Quietly rebuilding yourself from the ground up, that is a sign of immense, incredible mental strength. Just let this one line sink all the way in. Starting late is still starting. Look, whether you are 18 years old or 65, the effort you put in right here, right now, matters deeply. When you finally learn how to regulate your emotions, when you master delaying gratification, and when you finally align those daily habits, the entire trajectory of your future changes immediately. Do not waste another second of your life trying to look successful to a bunch of other people. Focus 100% of your energy on building a mind so incredibly strong that it doesn't feel the need to prove a single thing to anyone.
And that brings us to the core realization that really ties a bow on the entire thesis of this explainer. Build your mind first, build your money second. Build your freedom for life, build your discipline, build your patience, build your savings, and build something of real value. Because eventually your money is going to have an absolutely unshakable, rock-solid foundation, all because you took the time to become stronger first. Listen, if this message made you look at money, wealth, or even your own mindset just a little bit differently today, I highly encourage you to share this explainer on Facebook with someone who genuinely needs to hear it right now, because sometimes just one single paradigm-shifting idea can completely change the way a person sees their entire future. And hey, make sure to follow this page for more practical, slide-driven explainers about mindset, healing, discipline, and just building a much better life. So I'm going to leave you with this one final question to ask yourself tonight. If your bank account truly reflects your daily habits, what exactly is your balance predicting about your future? Stay calm, think long-term, and keep building.